Hey guys, welcome back to Axis and Allies, the Garrison. This is your host, Detroit, coming back to you from the bunker here in Rochelle Park, New Jersey, with another episode of the YouTube Wars. All right, it is now the UK's turn, and of course, the UK is under the command of Field Marshal Sire Blood. Okay, as we all know, during the last turn, Sire Blood made a series of moves that led to the buildup of a sizable army in West India. Now, the question that many of us have is as follows: what will Sire do? What are the UK forces going to do? Are they going to attack India? Are they planning to invade Calcutta and take it back from the Japanese? Or is it a bluff? Are they really just planning to go back to the Middle East and re-engage the Italians? In order to have the answer to these questions, you have to watch the remainder of this video. Guys, I hope you enjoy, and let me know, as usual, as always, what your thoughts are regarding the tactics and strategies that we're using. Hope you enjoy this episode.
So it is episode 5.5. The UK and Chinese get to go, and of course, both of these countries are under the command of Sire Blood. So let's go ahead with the current naval and ground situation for both the Chinese and United Kingdom forces in this game. All right, so what you have here in northern China is a massive buildup, okay, of Chinese forces combined with Allied infantry, considered actually a good chunk of them just plain Russian infantry, along with two Anzac fighter squadrons and one U.S. fighter squadron in Amway. All right, I guess the Chinese are preparing for a final push down south into what's still considered or part of Chinese controlled, actually Chinese provinces that are controlled by the Japanese Imperial Army, which are not that many provinces that are still controlled by the Japanese. Slowly, the Allies and the Chinese have been withering away at the Japanese controlled Chinese provinces. All right, so that's what's going on currently in the Pacific theater with the Chinese. Now, the UK, okay, as we all know, last turn, the Sire Blood built up a good army in West India, positively threatening Calcutta. So the Japanese had no choice but to reposition their forces and build up their forces in Calcutta, considering that the UK could potentially strike and launch a major offensive and reoccupy Calcutta. Of course, the Japanese had no choice but to build up their own ground and air forces in India. So the question that many of you may have asking yourselves right now is, what will Sire do? What will the UK forces do? Will they engage and take on this massive buildup of Japanese forces in India, or will they just reassess their options and go back into the Middle East? Well, we will have the answer for you shortly, if you stick around and watch the remainder of this video. So let's go ahead then with the purchases that both the Chinese and UK made this turn. So the Chinese forces started this turn with a total of 20 IPCs. The Chinese purchased 4 infantry divisions and 2 light armored divisions. All right, so what are the attacks? All right, the one single attack that the Chinese will be performing, okay, will be made in the province of Kiangsu. You have 1 light armored division at a movement of 1 and 2, and will liberate and take unopposed and liberate the Chinese city of Shanghai. So currently, Shanghai is once again under Chinese rule. So that's it for the Chinese as far as combats. Now we're going to go ahead then and make the non-combat movements, and they are as follows. The Chinese will be moving south, a total of 5 infantry divisions, and will occupy, okay, Amway. They'll be moving south from the Chinese province of Jehol. So that's one movement away, and it's they're currently now in Amway. All right, so let's go ahead then with that's it actually for all the non-combat movements that the Chinese will be making. That's all they can do. Let's go ahead with the final placements of units, which are 4 infantry. Of course, they're going to build up Amway, so that's 4 infantry and 2 light armored divisions that will be placed in Amway. All right, so that's it for the non-combat movements and placements of new units. The Chinese, in their income tracker, are now collecting a grand total of 20 IPCs. Yeah, the Chinese are looking very threatening and are very, they're resurgent, okay, and are ready to continue their offensive operations against the Japanese outer perimeter in Southeast Asia. All right, so let's go ahead then with the UK. The UK purchased with its 26 IPCs a total of 2 infantry, 2 artillery, 2 armored divisions, and 10 points worth of damage that they will be repairing on their factory or minor industrial complex in Iraq. So the 10 points of damage that industrial complex once had are now gone. So that industrial complex is once again fully functional. The UK will be declaring a total of 4 battles, okay? And the battles are as they follow. First battle will be the battle for Gibraltar. Okay, we're going to be fighting one battle there. Second battle will be the battle for Egypt. Third battle will be the battle for Transjordan. And last but not least, the battle for Syria. So that's a total of 4 battles that the UK, under the command of Sire Blood, will be declaring. 4 battles. Let's go ahead then with the actual combat movements for this turn. So the 4 divisions consisting of 1 artillery, 1 armor, and 2 infantry that are currently on board the 2 U.S. naval transports in Sea Zone 91 will be performing an amphibious landing and will be engaging the 2 German Bf-109 Luftwaffe fighter squadrons that are occupying Gibraltar. All right, so that's a total of 4 ground units. That attack will be supported by 1 Royal Air Force squadron of Spitfires coming from French West Africa at a movement of 1, 2, and 3. This fighter squadron will have 1 movement left in its fuel gauge. So that's going to be a total of 5 units attacking the 2 German Luftwaffe fighter squadrons that are defending the territory of Gibraltar. All right, second battle. Battle for Cairo, where in this territory you have 1 mechanized, 1 armored Italian divisions defending. In this instance, you'll have 2 artillery, 1 British armored division coming from Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. All 3 divisions are moving up north and attacking the 2 defending Italian divisions. You, in addition, will have 1 tactical bomber and 1 fighter squadron Spitfires moving at 1, 2, and 3 and will be joining that attack. This group of aircraft will be having 1 movement left in their fuel gauges, and that's what's going on or going into the attack for Egypt. All right, the third battle. Okay, the battle for Transjordan. In this particular battle, you'll have the naval transport in Sea Zone 80, British naval transport, escorted by 1 cruiser. It will pick up the 1 armored division in Persia. Okay, we'll take it on, and at a movement of 1, 2, it will perform an amphibious landing. Okay, attacking the defending Italian artillery and infantry divisions. That'll be 1. I'm forgetting to pick up the 1 British infantry division coming from Anglo-Egyptian Sudan will also be joining that amphibious attack in Transjordan right now. You will also have an additional fighter and tactical bomber coming at a movement of 1 and 2. Okay. These aircraft will have 2 movements left in their fuel gauges. So that's going to be 1 infantry, 1 armored division, 1 fighter squadron, and 1 tactical bomber squadron attacking the 2 Italian ground divisions that are defending. All right. And last but not least, the battle for Syria. In this battle, you'll have 1 British infantry, 1 British armored division coming from Iraq, moving west. Okay, they will be attacking Syria, where you have 1 German infantry division defending. This attack will be supported by 1 British tactical bomber coming at a movement of 1 and 2. This tactical bomber squadron will have 2 movements left in their fuel gauges. All right. Okay, so that's it for the combat movements for the United Kingdom. All right, let's review the results of the combats that were just held for all 4 of the battles that the UK declared. And of course, the UK is under the command of our good friend Sire Blood. Battle for Gibraltar. In this instance, all of the 2 defending Luftwaffe aircraft were destroyed. On their return fire, they did inflict 1 casualty on the British. All right, so the British did lose 1 infantry division. All right, second battle for Cairo. In this battle, the 2 defending Italian divisions were also defeated. Cairo was retaken by the British forces. On the return fire, the Italians did not positively engage the enemy. They did not inflict any casualties on the British. All right, same thing for the battle for Transjordan. In this battle, okay, the 2 defending Italian ground units were also destroyed. They were unable to return fire effectively. The British did not sustain any casualties for the battle for Transjordan. And last but not least, the battle for Syria. In this battle, the British were able to take out the single German defending infantry division, but unlike their Italian counterparts, the Germans were able to return fire effectively and were able to take out 1 British infantry division that attacked. Let's go and make the non-combats first with the naval units that the British have in the Indian Ocean. So the fleet in Sea Zone 80, consisting of a carrier and 2 destroyers, will move at a movement of 1 and 2. It will link up with the transport and cruiser that had performed the attack initially that went into Transjordan. All right, so here we have now a carrier, 2 destroyers, a cruiser, and 1 naval transport. All right, so let's go back to Sea Zone 79 off the coast of West India, where you have 1 naval transport, a cruiser, and 1 destroyer. This fleet, its naval transport component, will pick up 1 armored division and 1 infantry, and at a movement of 1 and 2 will go ahead and drop into Ethiopia. It drop off its components of 1 armored division and 1 infantry division in Ethiopia. All right, so that's where those units are currently. All right, let's go ahead and land the aircraft. Why not do that now? So the aircraft that participated in the attack in Cairo, these aircraft have 1 movement left in their fuel gauges. All right, they will be landing in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan at a movement of 1. The Spitfire squadron and tactical bomber that attacked in that attacked Transjordan, okay, have 2 movements left. These aircraft will be landing at a movement of 1 in in Iraq. It's not pro-axis anymore. It's just Iraq. All right. Same thing with the tactical bomber that supported the attack in Syria. This tactical bomber will be landing in Transjordan. Of course, it has more than enough movements left. Its fuel gauge reads that it has 2 movements left, so that means it could still go on to an additional movement after Iraq, but it doesn't need to. It'll be landed in Iraq. All right, let's go ahead with the movements for the remaining ground units. The artillery division coming from Union of South Africa will be railed at a movement of 1, 2, and 3 into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. The armored division currently in the Belgian Congo will move north at a movement of 1, and it'll accompany the artillery, the British artillery and French infantry division currently in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. All right, the artillery and infantry division, okay, in West India, okay, will move 1 space to Eastern Persia. That's 1 and 2. By the way, I made a mistake. Okay, this infantry that was brought over by naval transport never came along. It was just the armored division. This infantry will instead, coming from West India, will instead go into Eastern Persia. So that was my mistake when I made that initial movement with the transport, where I brought over the armored unit as well. So that's an error that I needed to correct right now. I just caught on to it. All right, so that's it for the non-combat movements for the United Kingdom forces, for the British. Let's go ahead then and review the income tracker. All right, so Gibraltar, key strategic location for the Allies, no IPC value. Cairo falls back into the hands of the British. It has not only a great strategic value for the British, for the Allies, but it also has an IPC value of 2. And let's not forget that the loss of Cairo means that the Allies, actually the Axis, currently lose 2 victory points. Cairo itself is a victory city, and the territory of Cairo makes up the victory objective point of Mediterranean. So that's which consists of no Allied territories anywhere starting from sea zones 95 through 99. So that's the loss of 2 victory points for the Axis powers. All right, but that's nothing new. The Italians and the Axis, the Italians and the Allies have been in a back and forth battle for this region. So currently, I believe the Allies, Axis powers have 10 victory points. No, actually 9 victory points. All right. Transjordan, that's another IPC value of 1. Syria is another IPC value of 1, which means then that the British will be collecting a total of 35 IPCs that they'll be taking over or carrying over to round 7 for their turn. All right, let's go ahead then and place the final the newly purchased units that the British purchase. British will be taking 1 infantry, 1 armor, and 1 artillery. We'll be placing it in Persia, where they have 1 minor industrial complex. They'll do the same in Iraq. They'll be placing 1 armored unit, 1 infantry, and 1 artillery. All right, guys, this is the end of the UK's turn. It is now Italy's turn. And of course, Italy is under the command of Hilltop Pillbox. All right, and that'll be turn, 6.6. The Italians go next. And by the way, I was forgetting to make one final movement, and that is the fighter that attacked Gibraltar will be landing on one of the U.S. carriers. I was forgetting to make that final movement. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. As I said before, it is now Italy's turn. It is Hilltop Pillbox who will be commanding the Italians. Guys, as I like to say, as always, don't forget to bunker down and play.